another video podcast of Alexandra Mayer's Live. Today I'm at the park. Nowadays I'm trying to be outdoors as much as possible because we're getting into warmer weather. It just feels really nice outside, and I think that my own personal spirit has shifted a bit. I'm not sure exactly why, but it has. Now, the podcast before the last couple that I posted actually was the podcast that I posted, which was a bit of a warning in regards to a health advisory that the political face of the adult entertainment industry put out, but that few have acknowledged for whatever reason. At the beginning of that podcast, I mentioned that we are in the final days of the adult entertainment industry within America, at least as people have known it for the past, I'd say 3 decades. I don't think a lot of people took me seriously when I said that. I don't think people usually take me very seriously at all, which is fine. Sometimes that's just how life goes. But some people might want to start taking me a little bit seriously. I highly encourage many of you out there to take a look at my Twitter account at Alex Mayer's Live, because a documentary was just put out, I believe yesterday perhaps, from NBC News in regards to LA Direct Models, its primary agent, Derek Kay, but most notably, something called the Luxury Companion. For those of you out there who have followed me for the past few years, you know that at one point in time, the Luxury Companion was my personal adult entertainment industry X-file as an independent investigative blogger and journalist. But then I basically received every answer I could ever want, plus some, directly from an individual known as Dave, who is affiliated with the Luxury Companion. After I got all the answers I needed, I basically didn't want to hear anymore. And I was like, all right, over that, next. But upon watching this 1 hour and about 15-minute documentary that was put out by NBC, I saw quite a bit of the things that I learned reflected in that documentary. I saw quite a few of the claims I've heard over the years about the Luxury Companion verbalized via several young women. But most importantly, I heard what Lisa Ann had to say. And, you know, there's a lot of themes on so many levels revolving around what's happening due to the release of this particular documentary by NBC News. I'm actually very excited to see what Sean Tompkins, aka TRPWL, writes about the situation in response. From what I saw on Twitter, he's going to post it, I guess, later this afternoon. But I'm very excited to see what he says about this, because, as I said, there's many levels to the allegations and the accusations and fact versus fiction when it comes to LA Direct Models, the Luxury Companion, and Derek Kay. And Derek Kay's, at least at one point in time, BFF Dave. Basically, we are witnessing a shift, a major shift in power within the adult entertainment industry. I actually was a bit tickled to see a young woman known as Lydia Dupra featured in the documentary, considering her personal business endeavors pertaining to escorting. So many things could happen. So many, there's so many ways that this situation could be led. I kind of wonder, is someone at the top of the food chain going to go ahead and completely legalize escorting across the board in America? Maybe. Is someone trying to force Derek Hayes' hand in regards to a lot of the mischief that he's been involved in over the years? Quite possibly. Definitely watch that NBC News documentary, if for no other reason, for Lisa Ann. Why? Because I think that she is telling the truth when it comes to some of the unethical and rather obscure business practices of Derek Hay.
We shared a room, so I got to watch everything he did every day. The things that I saw that really got me shocked were things like, at that time, Derek was paying guys to just walk around malls by schools and find 18-year-old girls and walk up to these 18-year-old girls and say, do you want to make $20,000 a month? These girls would get in a car with these guys. Derek would have them lined up at the office, and he'd be interviewing these girls, and he'd pay the guy $500 cash for each girl he brought in. These girls are just looking to get rich quick. They think they're going to be the next Kim Kardashian, and so they sign up for the program, and they really have no idea what they're in store for.
She specifically states that he had the practice of packing up girls' belongings, putting them in trash bags, and having drivers drive the girls out to the middle of nowhere, like 2 hours out, and just dropping them off if they misbehaved. Okay?
So Derek's third strike rule for girls that live in a model house. The first time I learned it was when one of the other agents in the office was sent to go and pick up the girls' belongings at the model house and throw them into a garbage bag, pick the girl up on set, drive her 2 hours to the middle of nowhere, and drop her off on the side of the road. And this was done. This was something the girls and people and guys that worked in that office thought nothing of.
Another former LA Direct employee corroborated this practice. Lisa Ann also wrote about this practice in a book that was published in 2015.
I saw drivers, specifically drivers, come and just clean out some stuff in a girl's room, and I was afraid, and I just felt like if I was perfect and if I didn't do anything wrong and if I didn't engage with people who didn't like him, that I would always be okay. But it gets pretty lonely.
4 other performers I spoke with who stayed at the model house said they witnessed this as well.
I managed to strike a deal with a hotel on Riverside where I could get a discounted rate, and I'd say, I can pay for you to be here for 4 or 5 days. And I would tell the girls, I'm supposed to drive you to the middle of nowhere right now, and I would leave them there. And so I would volunteer to do this job more than other people once I found out what was really happening. I could empathize with every one of these young girls, whether they were good people, bad people, whether they were messing up or not. They're still the same human I was, and no one, under any circumstance, deserves to be driven out to the middle of nowhere. And there's so many wrongs in what was happening.
I think that she's telling the truth about that because it's such a wild story. It's such a wild story. Why would you make something like that up? You know what I mean? But here's where I think Derek Hay and his BFF Dave really put the final nails in their own coffin. According to the producer of this documentary, at the very end it stated that he reached out to Derek and the operators of the Luxury Companion for comment and to do an interview, and they declined. I don't think that they should have done that. I actually think that over the years, all 3 of those people would be seen in a more flattering light, at least, if they had become more public. I actually wanted to interview Derek Hay at one stage, and I guess I wasn't good enough. You know, he doesn't exactly work with a lot of black people, and I have spoken extensively with Dave. He's actually a very entertaining person to speak with, but I have never seen him in person. I really don't know, for the most part, what he looks like. But I think it's a shame. And keep in mind, I do feel that all these people, by the way, are evil. Don't doubt that. I think that some of them can be charismatic, who I mentioned, but do I think that they're evil? Yes. I just think it would have been better had they been forthcoming and not, make it look like they're trying to hide. Because if you're really truly okay with the activity that you're doing, if you truly really believe that you're not doing anything wrong, you're not going to hide your face. You're not going to live in the shadows. You're going to live out in the open. You're not going to hide from the law. You're not going to hide from the media. You're definitely not going to hide from independent investigative bloggers and journalists. But now the public's first impression and perception of this guy, Dave, affiliated with the Luxury Companion, is a mugshot. Not a good look. From what I saw on XBiz, Derek Hay has released a statement, and whoever he got to shoot that video was a complete idiot. I mean, a complete freaking moron. First off, the camera is not right in his face. It's like to the side. I don't know if they're trying to be artistic or what, but it looks dumb. It makes him look even more untrustworthy because it's like he's not looking the camera in the eye. He should have answered all those questions in one take instead of all these different takes edited together, because it makes it look like maybe he messed up or he slipped up on what he was saying, or someone had to correct him and be like, okay, let's reshoot this. Okay, let's reshoot this. It just looks very unprofessional, and it makes it look like he's hiding something, which maybe he is hiding a lot of things. Considering what I heard from Tiffany Fox in an interview that I have posted on my YouTube, he's hiding a lot of things. But it's just not a very well done video piece on him, and he seems so uncomfortable on camera, and he always seems uncomfortable on camera. It's like he's like all shifting and like it's like something's wrong with him.
One asking me questions, he'd be the only interviewer, that there wouldn't be an audience, that only himself and necessary production staff would be present. Also, that the interview would be limited to 30 minutes. He wrote back and declined that, said that he couldn't accept those terms for the interview, but he still wanted to conduct an on-camera interview, obviously. He wanted to conduct it on his own terms and not mine. So we didn't do the interview.
Why and how in the world did he ever become the front person for LA Direct Models? Was there not anybody else? Was he just the only white guy that they could find? I've never even really been convinced that Derek Hay is white. To me, he looks like he's at least in part from the Middle East. I've always thought that, and I don't mean that in like, a hateful kind of way or anything. He just, I don't know, it's something about his face, his facial features, that it just looks like he's not what he claims that he is. That's the thing. You got to be honest in life about who you are, where you're from, and what you're up to. That's what we're learning. I meant it when I said it earlier that there's really only 3 people in the adult entertainment industry that I can wholeheartedly say are trustworthy and that are credible. And that's Alana Evans and Ruby of the Adult Performers Actors Guild Union, and Sean Matthew Tompkins, aka TRPWL of the Real Porn WikiLeaks. I wonder who else is going to be thrown under the bus when it comes to this NBC News documentary. I really do. There's quite a few people who should. Donald Carlos Sion, aka Donnie Long. He's pushed his way into that little LA Direct world because he wanted a piece of it. Kelly Roberts for sure. Oh, that woman should just burn in hell. Burn to ashes. Michael Federosi, without a doubt. I'd say actually everybody who's on that free speech coalition. Rendaz's a legal group, without a doubt, especially their managing partners. Ari Bass, aka Michael Whiteacre, who I know for a fact attempted, I don't know if he ever successfully did, but he attempted to work with TLC. And, you know, anyways, I'll see y'all later. Have a great day.